Men accept civility so as to accumulate wealth. Kings are the slaves of history. The well-being of the sovereign is inseparable from the national well-being.
Samodrajaviyi. The modern era was a time of absolutism, at least in some places. The desire for information, to catalog, categorize, monitor, survey, and manage, increased along with the size and scale of nations, armies, and economies. Given this overload of information, one could either let the system manage itself, and risk chaos, or place it all under the control of one person. Imperial Russia chose the latter. Samodrajaviyi, or Tsarist autocracy, rejected democracy and feudal nobility, seeking to elevate the Tsar as the ultimate manager and arbiter of the state. The policy was abolished after the rise of the Soviet Union, but some historians maintain that autocracy gave the Soviet Union, and later Russian powers, their authoritarian character. Serfdom. Serfdom is a form of bondage that ties people to land. When a noble acquired or sold property, the farmers who worked the land stayed with the land. In theory, serfs had no freedom to leave, but, unlike slaves, they could not be bought or sold individually. However, as the Russian economy modernized, the line between serf and slave blurred. This was not lost on Russian writers. For instance, Gogol's Dead Souls followed a merchant purchasing dead souls, serfs who have died whose deaths had not yet been recorded. Serfdom is not unique to Russia. It was a feature of most medieval societies, and aspects of the system were also incorporated into many agricultural societies. However, Russian serfdom was unique in that it persisted later than anywhere else in Europe, and the institution influenced many works by great Russian authors and artists. The life of the Russian serf became a lens that refracted Russian nationalism and national literature. Serfdom became a sign of the profound inequality of Imperial Russia. It was the specter of a past age against which socialist and communist movements organized. Serfdom was abolished in 1861 by Alexander II, partially in an attempt to stave off a revolution. However, the terms of emancipation were often onerous, requiring serfs to pay back the cost of their freedom at inflated rates, wasting a fair amount of goodwill. Table of ranks. The replacement of feudal systems of nobility with an institution that stemmed from the center was key to the development of centralized, bureaucratic monarchies. This was the case in Siam, Mughal India, Meiji Japan, and across Europe. Russia was no exception. The table of ranks was a codification of the system. Titles were established by the Tsar and nobles moved from feudal lords to bureaucrats. While other systems, e.g. the Mansabdari system of the Mughals, eliminated hereditary titles, Russian titles could be inherited, after a point. The table of ranks was created by Peter the Great in 1722 and was abolished by the Bolsheviks in 1917.